If cities could dance, Oaxaca would move slowly, gracefully, with ancient rhythms still beating beneath every street. Officially called Oaxaca de Juárez, this southern Mexican city is layered with history, indigenous identity, colonial architecture, and unforgettable food. I began my walk at the Zócalo, the beating heart of the city. Even on a Monday morning, the square already felt alive. Music drifted through the trees. Street vendors quietly set up for the day. Families gathered on shaded benches. Nearby, protest banners reminded me that Oaxaca is also a city with a long tradition of resistance and activism. The Zócalo has seen centuries of ceremonies, celebrations, and political movements. And somehow, it still feels deeply local. Watching the square wake up felt less like sightseeing and more like observing daily life unfold. Standing beside the square is the Grand Cathedral, the Cathedral of Our Lady of the Assumption. Construction began here in the 1500s, but earthquakes repeatedly damaged the structure. So the cathedral you see today is the result of centuries of rebuilding. The green cantera stone used here appears again and again throughout Oaxaca, elegant but also resilient. Inside the cathedral, everything felt quiet and cool. A pause from the busy streets outside. Not far away stands another church, the Basilica of Our Lady of Solitude. Lower, heavier, and intentionally built to withstand earthquakes. The architecture here feels grounded, almost protective. This basilica honors Oaxaca's patron saint, and despite its grandeur, there's also something deeply intimate about it. Beside the basilica stands the city hall, a reminder of how religion, politics, and civic life have long existed together in Mexican cities. From there, I walked toward Benito Juárez Market. Immediately, the atmosphere changed. The smell of herbs, fruit, and fresh meat filled the narrow aisles. This wasn't a market designed for tourists. It was a working market, a place where locals shop, eat, and meet one another. I passed food stalls packed tightly beside one another. The deeper I walked, the smokier it became. Eventually, I reached Oaxaca's famous Pasillo de Humo, the Hall of Smoke, a long corridor inside the nearby 20 de Noviembre market. Charcoal grills lined both sides of the walkway. Some people online call this place a tourist gimmick. But honestly, that didn't feel true at all. There were also local families, workers, and regulars. I ordered a small combination plate, perfect for a solo traveler. I ended up sharing a table with a local Oaxacan family. Despite the language barrier, they smiled and shared food. For a moment, I no longer felt like a tourist. After lunch, I continued walking toward the Macedonio Alcalá theater. Built in the early 1900s, the theater feels elegant without being excessive. French-inspired details, stone arches, old-world glamour. Unfortunately, it was closed during my visit. But even from outside, it still carried a quiet sense of grandeur. Nearby, I passed the Oaxaca Textile Museum. Housed inside a restored historic building, the museum celebrates the weaving traditions deeply connected to Oaxaca's identity. But unexpectedly, what fascinated me most was the nearby art-filled alley outside Central Cultural San Pablo. Murals, installations, and creative spaces appeared almost hidden between old stone walls. It felt spontaneous, organic, like art naturally belonged in the streets here. That's something I kept noticing in Oaxaca. Pride in heritage was everywhere, not frozen in museums, but actively lived, protected, and shared. Eventually, I arrived at Santo Domingo de Guzman Church. Honestly, this might be the city's true masterpiece. Golden stone glowed against the afternoon light. The church complex dates back to the 1500s. But over the centuries, it served many purposes. Religious sanctuary, military barracks, warehouse, even a stable. Today, it houses the Museum of Oaxacan Cultures. Unfortunately, being a Monday, both the church interior and the museum were closed. Still, even from outside, the scale and beauty of the complex was breathtaking. Beside it lies the Ethnobotanical Garden, a living collection of Oaxaca's native plants. The garden itself was also closed that day, so I could only glimpse parts of it through openings in the walls. But even that small glimpse revealed something important. In Oaxaca, plants, food, craft, and identity are deeply connected. Nothing exists in isolation. I ended my walk along Macedonio Alcalá Street, a pedestrian street filled with galleries, craft stores, and street performers. Warm colonial colors surrounded the street. By this point, the city had shifted again. The morning calm had become evening energy. People wandered slowly. Couples stopped for photos. They say that whoever visits Oaxaca always comes back. And after spending a day walking its streets, I think I understand why.